Yes. So I'm going to go through the masculine and feminine traits of each sign and describe them basically, because obviously there is masculine signs and there's feminine signs, but an individual sign has masculine and feminine traits ultimately. So, even though people may think this is, like Aries is a masculine sign, I'm going to show you Aries feminine traits. And let's start with the masculine first. Obviously, it's action for Aries. Aries are action orientated. It's a masculine trait. Um, they are assertive. That's again a masculine trait. Aggressive. A lot of A's here. A is Aries, aggressive, assertive. Action, alpha. It begins with A as well. So it's the beginning of the first word starts with A, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It all interlinks. When you understand this on a deep level, you see how everything interlinks with everything else. It's crazy. So what did I say? Aggressive. And what else? Aggressive and independent, I would say, is a very masculine trait. You know, I think the reason why independence is a masculine trait. I'm not saying women can't be independent, because there are many independent women out there, but I don't think I think men cope with it much easier and better than women does in terms of being independent. As men are generally more independent than women, and a man should be independent, especially from an early age. I think a man should learn to be. A man only becomes a man when he becomes independent. When he's still at home and depending on mom and dad and everything like that, he doesn't become a man. But a woman still very much is still a feminine woman, even when she is at home, uh, being dependent on her mom and dad. The femininity is there from very early on with a woman. But men, they need to learn it. So that's why independent is also there. And taking risks. Taking risk is an Aries trait, and it's a masculine thing for men to take risks. Men need to be bold and take that risk ultimately. So the feminine traits, it's not a lot, because Aries is a highly masculine sign. It's more masculine probably than any other sign in the zodiac. But the feminine traits that Aries has is, I would say, persuasive. Persuasive. I think being persuasive, charming in a way, that kind of childlike charm, persuasion that an Aries has, is a feminine trait for Aries. They don't have a lot. So, that is one that is, people may say it's a masculine trait to persuade someone to do something, convince someone. But I think, you know, persuasiveness is different to convincing. The persuasion is kind of like an art form of convincing someone. They're also passionate. They're very passionate people. And I think passion is a feminine trait, is a feminine thing. And showing their passion, being very passionate towards either what they're trying to do, achieve their goals, doing things they love, just getting excited about things, and just showing their passion, showing that passion that they have is, yeah, it comes across. The Aries is obviously a masculine sign, but even let's say you're a woman and you're an Aries woman, these two things you do very well. These two feminine traits, you do good. You do good with them. So, yeah, I couldn't really think of a lot of any other things. Maybe you guys can maybe add some in the comments, but I can't really think of any more. When it comes to Taurus masculine traits, obviously we know Taurus, well, maybe you don't, but Taurus is a feminine sign. So it goes masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, in that order. And I would say one of Taurus's very masculine traits, even though this is a very feminine sign, is persistence. They are very persistent, Taurus. And I think when you're persistent, when you can keep going with, even though maybe bad things have happening, or, you know, maybe there's a struggle in trying to achieve something, you know, your goals are not obtaining in the way you want to as quickly as you can, a Taurus will persist. And, you know, that persistence is like, just keep working towards their goal no matter what, and don't allow any kind of distractions to intervene with their obtaining what they want. Highly persistent people, you know. And I think also with Taurus, they're strong, you know, strength, you know, physically, they have physical strength. And I think physical strength is definitely a masculine, it's definitely seen as a masculine thing. So, you know, Taurus having being physically strong, most Tauruses are quite strong. You know, again, it's a masculine thing. So, you know, that's something that they have. I would also say, I was also put into the Taurus as stubborn. The stubbornness of Taurus, I think sometimes Taurus doesn't want to budge. They will believe in what they think, regardless of, you know, you have to, they don't, you know, basically allow someone to make their mind up for them. They're going to make their mind up for themselves. So that stubborn nature is kind of like, it has a masculine element to it, where they're going to be like, no, I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to make my decision. It's going to be me who's going to be, you know, ultimately making the decision. You know what I mean? So I believe that is a masculine trait in Taurus that they have, because it comes across combative and stuff like that. So, you know, this is that trait kind of creates arguments, and arguments is a masculine thing. So, you know, but they don't care. A Taurus won't care if they believe in what they believe in. They're not going to change until they're ready to change, or they've decided to change. But the feminine traits of Taurus is dependable, very dependable, obviously. And I think dependable, I think, you know, like, I don't know if you guys have filled in forms and things like that. When people say, do you have any dependents? That means, like, do you have any kids or anything like that? Because you have to look after those kids. They are dependable on you. They're dependent on you. And that's the biggest thing that's going to depend on you, children. So that's why they're so dependable, and they're so, like, homely and family environmentive. And they're very possessive. Possessions and possessions are very important to them. And I don't even know if I spelled that right. I probably didn't. I think there's two S's there. Possessive, in the way that they like their things. They want their things to be taken care of. They possessive about, you know, anything that they basically own, you know. And the reason why this is feminine is because they will look after it. They will care for it. They'll make sure it's in good condition. And that is anything that they have that they truly cherish. And it's because they're caring. They're caring people. And it's a caring sign, Taurus. And caring obviously is a feminine trait. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to explain that, but caring is a feminine trait. To care for someone, you have to, like, kind of let go of many things in that's going on and just focus on them. And this is why women generally are mainly carers. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, these are three things I would definitely say. I could say a lot more, but these are definitely three things that are feminine, and Taurus is obviously a feminine sign. Now, Gemini, obviously communication. Communication is masculine because, you know, communication isn't just a situation between two people. You have to, you know, it isn't a conversation between two people. Communication can, yeah, you know, it can go, has some, you have to kind of remove emotion sometimes when you're communicating, like sending an email, writing a text message. People who write newspapers and stuff, you know, let's say you writing job applications and this, that, and the other. Sometimes it's just about information. And communication, some most of the time with communication, you have to kind of remove the emotion out of communication, and that's why it's a masculine thing, because it's just about the words, what you've been saying, not what's behind the words, so to speak. Even though everybody understands the emotion behind the words, but communication is a masculine thing. It you know, deals happen through communication. People like people because of communication. People want to work with people, or people obtain jobs the way they communicate. You know, communication it rules the world in many ways. You know, um, and with communication, you have to think, and that's what I mean by removing the emotion. That's why Geminis are thinkers, because they have to thinking. Sometimes, you know, you can connect emotions with your thoughts. You can do both, but it depends on your placements, really, or depends on, you know, maybe potentially the way you've grown up, or, you know, little things like that. You know, you can connect both, but thinking is ultimately just a brain process. It's a process, you know, and some people become overwhelmed with their thoughts and stuff like that. But Geminis don't. Geminis enjoy the thinking and they love it. So therefore, the thought thinking for them is actually therapeutic, and it's because they don't feel, even though they can feel emotion, but they don't allow the emotion to cloud their clarity of their judgment when they think. You know, and adaptable. Adaptable. The reason why it's a masculine trait, being adaptable, is because I feel like with adaptability, I think everyone should be adaptable in my mind. I don't think you should be, you know, it's this or that, but sometimes, you know, not everybody can. The change sometimes can be traumatic. You have to be strong. You have to be brave. Um, you have to be willing to basically do anything in some degrees when it comes to adaptability. And you know, when you look at feminine signs, they don't like change. Taurus doesn't like it. Cancer doesn't like it. Virgo doesn't like it too much. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't enjoy the change and changing routinely and regularly. Some people do. Don't get me wrong. You know, some people do like it, but it's just, you might have a lot of Aries in your placements. You have a lot of Gemini in your placements, so that's why you like it. And these are masculine signs, so that's why it's an adaptable thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just a lot of change. It's just, you have to learn. You have to be able to deal with it. And some people just don't want to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say with the feminine traits that Gemini has is inconsistent. I think, you know, that adaptability can go over to being inconsistent and not basically being fixated and doing this one thing, or you know, changing, or maybe one day doing this good and maybe one day not doing this so good. You know, the inconsistency, you know, you may feel like it's, you know, maybe not true, or maybe it's not feminine, but the reason why it's feminine is because the inconsistent nature of 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 things can really kind of like confuse you. People like to have a consistent way of thinking. Like when I talk about these signs again, yeah, if they're inconsistent, they hate it. They hate it. They need that stability. You know, inconsistency is basically just a version of adaptation. So that's what, in their mind, they see it as inconsistent. But it's just, masculine might find it, oh, I'm just adapting to the scenario. So it was hard to really pull out some Gemini feminine traits. It was hard to pull them out, but that's one I found. And also another one is easily triggered. Now, they do react. Like they are sensitive in a way. They may not react always in that sensitivity or show that sensitivity, but things you say to them, because they, you know, rule communication, things you say to Geminis, they can get upset by even the smallest thing you say, but they may not show you. So they're easily triggered by certain words, certain things, you know, and that is one of their feminine. That is a feminine trait that Gemini does have, you know. So yeah, I'd also say Gemini is very, very helpful. Um, they're helpful in a different way to other signs. In terms of, if you ask Gemini, if you was to, Gemini may not go out their way to help you, right? They may not go out their way to be very helpful towards you. But if you ask a Gemini for their help, they're gonna help you to, like, as much as possible. They're gonna basically help you with information. But that's where their helpfulness comes from, is with the information that they know about X, Y, or Z. Or maybe they can connect you with something or whatever it may be. But their helpfulness comes with information. So, you know, that is a very feminine trait that they have, which is just being helpful and sometimes over helpful in some ways. So yeah, that's what they do. So Cancer's masculine traits. Cancer's masculine traits is interesting because obviously having masculine traits is not a Cancer thing, but each sign has masculine and feminine traits. Just like I have X chromosomes and Y chromosomes, you know, just like you have testosterone and estrogen. You have both. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you don't have estrogen, and vice versa. We have both in this life. So Cancer has both too. But obviously the stronger is the feminine. And even their masculine traits come across feminine, or they do it in a feminine style. But I will tell you what the masculine traits are. And protective. This sign is highly protective. You know, you feel this, they'll protect you. That's it. They've got your back. They have got your back. They will not let you down. They will not let anybody, they will try their best anyway to not allow anybody to hurt you or upset you, because they're very protective of you. You know, they're always gonna be, you know, some, not even someone, they truly care about you. If someone's talking bad about you, they're gonna say, don't talk about you like that. They're just so protective. They're just protective. That's just how they are. They, you know, it's the Cancer is the crab. And what do they have? They have a shell. That shell is a layer of protection that is protecting people, protecting themselves, and they can put that shield in front of people to protect them too. That's their mentality. That's how they think, you know. It's very simple. Also with Cancer, which is a masculine trait, is they're outspoken. Like I said, if they feel that, like I said, if they feel like you're saying something bad about someone they care about, they'll speak out. They'll speak up. They won't stay quiet. If they feel that something's not right, they will speak up. They won't stay quiet. You know, they're outspoken. They're not the type of person to, and they're outspoken in when things are not right. That's when they're outspoken. They can be quiet and, you know, in their own space, whatever, not that open. But when things are not right, when things should be this way or that way, or when they feel that there's a risk or a danger or something like that, they're going to speak up. They're not going to be afraid in most scenarios, if not all scenarios, to say how they feel, basically. So yeah, but obviously the feminine traits of Cancer is nurturing, very, very nurturing, you know, caring, nurturing, bringing up, making sure that you have what you need emotionally, making sure that, you know, they're the mother. Cancers are the mothers of the zodiac. So that's why they're nurturing. It's really that simple. You know, they have this inner strength as well. You know, inner strength is a feminine thing. My spelling is gone. Strength. I don't think I spelled that right, but who knows? My brain, it's late at night. Brain is not working. I don't think I spelled that right at all. But anyway, yeah, inner strength. They have inner strength, and with their inner strength, you know, that's a very feminine trait, inner strength, because, you know, men have outer, external, physical, external strength. Women, females, have internal strength. That's like a truly feminine trait, because, you know, I just think it's just how we're designed. It's just design thing. And even though some people feel like maybe they don't have it, but trust me, because they're Cancers and, you know, nurturing and inner strength to bring up children, kids, and everything like that, it's an internal thing. It's an internal thing to do the routines. That's why they don't, like I said with Gemini, they don't like to be inconsistent. Inconsistency is like, if they are, it's feminine because they don't like it. A man will look at it as just being adaptable. But inconsistency, they need that routinely thing and to do things over and over again. You have to have inner strength. You have to be strong. You have to be very strong to handle that. And they also, which is a massive feminine trait, and which it's a Cancer trait, is emotional intelligence. They have emotional intelligence. I mean, it's just, most cancers do, if not all cancers do. And, emotional intelligence is just a feminine trait. And I think most people are very much aware of that. And yeah, it's that simple. Leo's masculine traits. Power. It's not that they want power, but they are powerful. They're powerful people. They're powerful beings. They have a presence. You can feel that presence, that energy, that power that they have inside of them. And, that is a masculine trait. And both men and women have that power. You can feel, even some may feel that they don't, but it's there. Even if you don't have it, it's there and hiding. You just blocked it out. You're just shutting it down. But you definitely have power. And you're leaders. You normally take leadership roles naturally. People look at you for the lead. You take the lead. This is, what Leos do, and leadership sign. Men tend to lead. Men want to lead, and women want their partner to lead the relationship. They want their partner, even though they may want 50-50, but ultimately they want him to be the leader. Ultimately. And confidence, I think. Confidence is obviously... Confidence, I would say that, the reason why it's a masculine trait, confidence, even though, women and men both have it. But I would say it's a masculine trait because a woman would want her partner to be more confident than her, because she would want him to be the one who is achieving more or doing more or trying to do more, or, having, a bigger network, having a bigger this, and, having the confidence to do this, having the confidence to book that thing and go to that place and go somewhere where you have confidence and speak up. Confidence is, it's definitely a masculine trait, 100%, 1000%. But yeah, the feminine traits of Leo. Leos have big hearts. Because Leos have big hearts, right? They tend to fall for people. They tend to, their heart just gravitates towards someone. And that could not just maybe be even relationship. It could be friends and it could be family too. Just because of their heart, they just they'll do anything for you if they just really have some feeling, or, some warm love for you. Do you know what I mean? They'll do it. And, I feel that's very it's a very beautiful thing to have. And I think anything beautiful is feminine. So, yeah, that's really why that big heart is really a feminine thing for Leo. But they also like drama. They like drama. They like the drama. They like the drama. And I think, yeah, it's just, the fighting, or the